Hey Nutton, ARFCOM Addict here. It's been a long day, I'm tired, but I want to squeeze this video out for you. This is probably the 10th time I've shot the video, I don't know. But I watched your video about your wife receiving the cut about a week ago. And this has been on my mind ever since, and I want to get it done. So, I just want to give you a little bit of advice. So who the heck am I to be giving you advice? Well, some people say I know a little bit about medication. I went to school for 8 years, graduated with a PharmD, and the Kansas State Board of Pharmacy seems to think that I know enough about medications to be licensed as such. And as you can see, that is a valid license to be a pharmacist in the state of Kansas. So I was in the DMV today to renew my concealed carry license, and while sitting there for 45 minutes, wrote up some Nutnfancy style talking points, I guess you could say. So first of all, let me just tell you briefly why I feel the need to make the video. I think we see eye to eye on a lot of tactical gear, a lot of shooting stuff. I go out and buy an Arsenal SGL-21, and all of a sudden you're making videos about Arsenal AKs. I've been carrying a handgun for 4 years now for concealed carry, specifically the CW9. And next thing I know, I go online and find out that you're carrying a car at least part of the time. I know Kel-Tec's your main gun, but you also carry a PF9. So just things like that, I just recently went and ordered a Rock River Advanced Tactical Hunter upper. Went and watched your video, and come to find out in the description of the video, that's one of your top recommended models right now is the ATH. So you give me a chuckle half the time when I see the vids, and I'm like, yeah, me too. So, and then on a little more somber note, I had a dog that died because of a autoimmune disease that affected his blood. And I think you know some person that has an autoimmune disease that affects their blood, last I checked in that video. I rescued a dog at the age of 2 that was an untrained mess. Trained him. It was a great dog. 6 years later, all of a sudden I find myself in the vet's office, and my dog has autoimmune hemolytic anemia, and they're telling me that despite all the interventions that are available, my dog has 3 hours to 3 weeks to live. And he's my only family that lives with me. So it's been a rough time dealing with that, and that was several months ago that this happened. So anyway, and I just realized that the part I just told you about, that's probably a lot of what affected me about watching the video, is when she said that, when your wife said that she had this autoimmune disease that caused her to need to be on anticoagulants. Obviously not exactly the same thing as what was happening to my dog, and obviously she's a person and not a dog or an animal, but as an animal lover, I think you can understand. So anyway, you've also helped me with knife reviews, things like the Spyderco Tenacious that I made the thank you video about recently, thanking you for getting me to buy 4 Spyderco Tenacious, but also things like this S2 Juice Leatherman here. So anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about your wife and what I would like you and her to both think about. One thing that, having seen your level 1, level 2 first aid kits, something you might want to consider getting a hold of is some phytonadione, also known as vitamin K tablets, 5 milligram. Please don't take this as personal advice. I certainly wouldn't go calling your doctors, me personally, not knowing anything about her other than what I've seen in a video on YouTube, and making certain recommendations. But I'm guessing if she has this disease, she probably has a hematologist, and just want to get the wheels turning in your heads, and maybe give you something to talk about the next time she's in with her hematologist. But a lot of times people find out, go in, get blood work, get home, find out that they have sky high INR when they get home through a phone call, and oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And one of the common things that you'll be told is take vitamin K. Well, oh my gosh, we don't have vitamin K. Okay. Well, every step she takes, she's risking internal bleeding because her INR is 20, and you don't have any vitamin K at home. So even if she was in the hospital, they would give oral vitamin K to her. So especially if she's not having significant bleeding at the moment. But maybe it could also help if you're not able to get to the hospital. Who knows? So just some things to think about. But I also want to talk to you about bleeding. And it got me thinking, your video actually got me thinking about something that I carry whenever I am going to be shooting away from a hospital, and that's these trauma packs that include Quick Clot, like this here. And I sure thought I knew what Quick Clot was until I started thinking about this video, and you got me thinking. So, one of those areas where the more you learn about medication and therapy, and the more you realize how much you don't know. So I did a little bit of research on the manufacturer's webpage and found out that there's actually 3 generations of Quick Clot. Did you know that? 3 generations. First generation being the zeolite product that you just poured like sugar into the wound and hoped it stayed there. Also the one that caused all the burns. And then the second generation is the one that most of us think about with Quick Clot. When we think of Quick Clot, things like this one here, this Quick Clot Home. It also goes by names such as Quick Clot ACS Plus, Quick Clot, let's see here, Sport, Quick Clot Sport Silver, Quick Clot First Response. Those are all zeolite products. And Z-Medica, the manufacturer, actually has a section of the website dedicated to healthcare professionals. So I went on there and looked at it, and they really don't talk a whole lot about, how well it works. Actually, they don't talk at all about how well it works in people that are on anticoagulants. So, well, I kind of looked at its mechanism of action, and I wasn't exactly impressed with what I thought its ability might be in someone that is on anticoagulants. However, they do make, it turns out, a 3rd generation product that's made with a completely different mineral called kaolin. And along with that, they have published studies from medical journals talking about its efficacy. And lo and behold, study number 2 was done in the journal European Radiology, was written up in that journal, where they took 200 patients that were on one of 4 anticoagulation therapies. Either aspirin, clopidogrel, also known as Plavix, low molecular weight heparin, such as enoxaparin or Lovenox, or warfarin. And these people got catheterization by femoral approach. So they're going into the femoral artery of these people's thighs for these interventional needs, and this procedure's done, and oh my gosh, well, how are we going to stop this person from bleeding out now? Kind of a big deal. Anybody that knows what a femoral artery is knows that that might not be a good thing to be bleeding from if you're anticoagulated. So they had a good sample size, 100 people in each group, either using standard manual compression with the gauze or using the 3rd generation Quick Clot. And pretty impressive, actually. Mean time to homeostasis, meaning stopping bleeding in this case, for manual compression was 26.2 minutes, plus or minus 15 minutes. So some people took 10 minutes to stop at the very best. Some people were bleeding for 40 freaking minutes. Think about that. Out of their femoral artery. Whereas with Quick Clot, mean time to homeostasis was 5.4 minutes, plus or minus 1.5 minutes. So nobody was bleeding for 10 minutes on this study. Okay? That is pretty damn amazing. So, maybe a good idea to try and get a hold of some of this third generation quick clot. Now, I don't know if it's even available to consumers on the standard market, but last I checked, you have a son that's an EMT, and maybe he could help you get a hold of some of it. The other thing that I would recommend is talk to the hematologist and find out if he knows anything about quick clot's efficacy in Mrs. Nutnfancy's particular condition. You know, there's a lot of different hematology disorders out there, and I certainly couldn't tell you for the life of me whether or not her particular condition affects the ability of quick clot to stop a clot. But I do know, like I say, about drugs, and I thought that this was a very interesting study. And if you hadn't seen it yet, I thought it would be important for you to know about it. So, once again, this is just food for thought. This isn't individual specific medical advice for you. But you've given me a lot in terms of knowledge and entertainment in your videos throughout the years, and so maybe this video helps you a little bit. I hope so. So it's been a tiring day for me, and I'm going to bed. Hope it helps.